Change. The word alone can be challenging. How do we get started? Where will the change lead? Don't sit there and worry about it. Be the change. Welcome to Be the Change Radio. Host Kristina Bloom has been a professional psychic and spiritual advisor for 20 years, offering psychic and mediumship readings for individuals and groups. She also teaches several classes in psychic development and metaphysics. In addition, she is an author who has published 2 books so far and is the co-owner of Moonbow Publications and Productions, LLC. Are you ready for that change now? Here is your host of Be the Change Radio, Kristina Bloom.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Be the Change Radio. I'm your host, Kristina Bloom, and you're listening to us on WLTK. Let's Talk Radio. I'm really glad that you're all here tonight. We're going to have a whole lot of fun. We're bringing on Haley. By the way, I'm following up a really great show because I just caught like the last 10 minutes of it and it was a blast. And that's a Monday Night Tickets, I think it's called. Lee Warner is our host and reviewing movies. Hey, Keith, thanks for being here. All right. So tonight we will be talking about EVPs. We're going to talk about media's influence on paranormal investigations and a bunch of other fun stuff. In the meantime, I'm going to let you in on what I've got going on here. So this coming Saturday, the 9th, I will be at the Soul and Synergy Fair at Stevens Point at the Holiday Inn at Stevens Point, Wisconsin. And on the 13th, I'm doing an online class. Really, I will learn to talk before we get all this out there. Courtney, Robin, hello. An online aura reading class. So I will be teaching people how to read auras online. So that is on the 13th. There is a Facebook message page for it. I no longer have a meetup page. I closed down my meetup page. So that's no longer in existence. It was just too much to keep track of. We just have way too many things to do these days. Let me see. I've got something else written down here. I have to see what it is here. Okay, that you don't need to know about. All right. So then the 16th, I will be in Wausau. Not Wausau, sorry. Oops, scratch that. At the Soul and Synergy Fair in Ashland, Wisconsin, way up north for those of you who are up in that area. And the following weekend, I am going to be at the Great Lakes Paranormal Conference. So super, super excited about that. That's the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. And that's at the Haunted Glenbeulah School in Glenbeulah, Wisconsin. The following week, I will be at the Fall Celebration Fair at Wild Blue Wander UP. And that is outside of Lake Linden, Michigan, in the Upper Peninsula. So that is some of the stuff that I have going on for September. Hey, Sherry, thanks for being here. I had a very quiet Labor Day weekend. We actually cleaned out a storage shed. Sounds like fun, huh? Found all kinds of old stuff in there I hadn't looked at in years. So that was kind of interesting. So getting back to the show here, our very own Todd Bates is my guest tonight. He's an EVP specialist. It's like his favorite thing about paranormal investigations. And I'm hoping to get some tips and tricks because honestly, I listen to EVPs and I can hear almost none of them. They all just sound like static to me. So hopefully he can give us some tips on how to be able to hear those better. And let's bring Todd out.
Hi, Kristina.
Hey, Todd. How are you?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Awesome. I feel like I haven't talked to you in a few days.
I know. It's been a while.
Yeah. Weird. All right.
Happy Labor Day.
Yeah. Happy Labor Day to you too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. How's your union working out? Because mine rocks.
My union's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad. I can't complain.
Yeah. Same here.
Ever changing, right?
Always, every day, sometimes multiple times a day. Hey, Marilyn, welcome. Hey, Rez.
Hi, Keith.
Wow,
Hey,
we got a
Raz.
lot of fun
Holy
people in
cow,
here
that's
tonight.
good.
Yeah, lots of fun people. So you have loaded up some EVPs. I know that you told me you had some loaded up. Um, and we'll get to that, but I wanted to talk to you. I wanted to ask you about how do you get good EVPs? Because all I ever hear is static. And
Yeah.
people are like, "Oh, did you hear they just said this?" And I'm like, "I heard static."
It's tough.
Yeah.
It is tough. I mean, I'm going to recommend this because I'm old school and I'm kind of biased to it, but it does work. Get an old analog recorder or an old digital recorder.
Okay.
Until you're more advanced, stay away from the newer equipment.
Okay.
These devices, they have a lot of them, and it kind of you have electronic voice phenomenon, and then you have instrumental transcommunication or ITC.
Okay.
Like the Estes method, for example, that's very popular right now. That's more ITC
And what does
than
ITC stand for?
instrumental trans communication.
Okay. Okay. I
So
know you just said that and it just went in
no,
one ear and out the other.
no, that's fine. But there's
Make
the difference between the two.
Yeah.
And there's EVP, electronic voice phenomenon. That goes all the way back to the old reel-to-reel recorders back with Frederick Jurgensen. He was a movie producer.
Okay.
And he made his own little films and captured his own sound effects. And he was recording some bird sounds in nature. And his mother came across as reel to reel.
Oh,
And
wow.
he was just completely blown away by it and began communicating with her. And magnetic tape, for some reason, and that's why I'm so stuck to it, the magnetic tape, the old school magnetic tape, I think it has some kind of binding to it to where the spirit can imprint itself better onto the tape.
Energetically, that makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of it is static electricity, what happens with magnets, and things of that nature. So I became very obsessed with that. Oh my goodness, trying to find that answer, and it's tough. But there's different methods you can do to capture these, and some of them are very quiet. I mean, I've got some loaded up that are Class A, Class B, and Class C, which
Okay.
this is a system that was devised years ago by a woman named Sarah Wilson Estep. She developed the ABC system. She was a preschool teacher. And Class A is something that's audible, that if I play it and you hear it, you can clearly hear what the message is. A Class B has a little bit of clarity, but then goes into maybe static, goes into some reverb, some different types of noises or something. A Class C are your whispers. And most captured on digital are whispers, light whispers,
Right.
and they're hard to pull out. But on analog, which is what all of these I have queued up are, they were all captured on analog, so they're a little more pronounced. They're a little louder.
Okay.
You don't have as much interference with it. It's just a little easier to understand but you get less by
Right.
using analog. You can capture more on a digital recorder, but they're also quieter usually. I've had a few decent ones on a digital recorder, the older ones, but nonetheless, digital recorder. And then the analog, like I said, you get less, but they're more announced. The presence is there.
Okay. Let's
So
hear some of those.
sure. Let me
Yeah,
get
let's hear some
these
of
here.
those.
Okay, this first one is a Class A example.
Okay.
Okay, and we'll play it, and I'll kind of go with a little backdrop behind it.
Okay.
Get this up here.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
A little old lady. This was captured at a bridge called Cannonball Bridge in Vincennes, Indiana. It's an old train trestle. And the analog recorder was sitting on the ground with the external mic, and this thing came across. I mean, where in the world would this hello from an old woman, elderly sounding woman, come from a train
Okay.
bridge?
To me, it sounded like somebody screaming in pain. See what
And
I'm saying? Like, I don't hear things the way that
yeah,
other people hear them,
and
apparently. I don't
that's
know.
it does take a trained ear, but you have to be
Yeah.
careful because if you loop something, you'll develop what's called pareidolia, where you're going to start hear your mind, especially with the white noise behind the analog tape, that will
Right.
put you in that state if you do not take breaks, and you'll
Okay.
begin to hear messages and things within the static. But this one, for example, is a class B. You can't understand what this one is, but this was captured on an analog recorder at the Sally House at a Sally House investigation.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I mean, you may hear the word Jill, you may hear the word Gil. What are you doing? You can get bits and pieces of it. But if you sit there and listen to that thing and loop it over and over, oh, you're going to hear everything. You'll hear the Gettysburg Address in there if you listen hard enough.
Right. Yeah.
You've got to be
See,
real
that,
careful.
to me, that sounded like standing in like a cafeteria with all kinds of people talking.
Yeah. There
Like
was a
there was no
lot of
way to really distinguish what was being said.
there was a
Okay.
lot of chatter. And
Yeah.
behind that, the Sally House, I mean, I've investigated there many, 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 many times over the years. And what I feel that home is, I don't feel it's demonic by any stretch of the imagination. I think it's malevolent.
Okay.
And I think that there is a dominant spirit, dominant male spirit that dominates the other spirits in there. There's several. There's a little
Okay.
girl, there's a doctor, there's the mother, there's the father. There's so many in that place. And I think it's a combination of all of them maybe talking or something in the background. I don't know, but it sounds like there's a lot of people around.
Right.
And a person would classify that as a class B because you can hear the words, but
You
you
just can't
can't
make out what they
you
are.
can't make out what they are. Absolutely.
Okay. I'm loving Courtney's comments over here. Um, sounded like you are there, and then in a Dutch voice almost. The first one I heard hello.
Hmm.
Yeah, where she heard hello, to me it sounded like someone like just got
Screaming
gut
in
punched.
pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's really hard. That's why when I review evidence for my team, I never do voice because I never hear what other people hear.
Well, I mean, again, it's a trained ear. You have to,
Right.
I mean, I get real nerdy with it. I go in with audition and the spectral view, look at the hertz levels. Are we supposed to hear something like this? Is this normal? What is this? I don't see any vocal patterns in the EVP part. That's how you tell the difference in the software is
Right.
you can see the vocal patterns. When someone asks a question prior to the response, you get the response. The response won't have any vocal patterns in it if it's an EVP. So there's
Right.
there's all kinds of little things to look for with them.
I know
But
when you showed me that in audition, I was just like, wow.
it's
That
neat.
blew me away. I was just wow.
It's
Okay.
a powerful, powerful program. It really is. And it can put those in there. And I've seen it to where in audition, the audition couldn't even register it. So it's just black blocks, like little black
Okay.
squares that are squared out. So it's really neat how technology it's come a long way, and when I first started this, getting it to a computer, we had to use an audio patch cable or headphone cables to
Okay.
get it from the analog recorders. And I still have to do that, but with that beast. But there's so much fun in going out and doing it with all the different ways you can do it. Think about it like fishing. You're going to cast your line and cast your line. You may get a few bites, but every once
Mhm.
in a while you'll catch one, and you just have to keep trying. You can't give up, and it can
Right.
be very frustrating because you're sitting there you're questioning your own sanity because you're sitting there talking to yourself.
I kind of do that every day. So yeah,
I
I'm
gotta
good
do
with
that
it.
every day.
I'm good with it. Hey, Jessica, welcome. Yeah, I kind of do that every day. I was just thinking we were just using, my cousin and I were just using our cell phones when we were walking around the Congress Hotel in Chicago and just using the voice recorder on our cell phones. Right. I didn't expect to get anything but static. And then I heard this really loud growl. I almost dropped my phone, man. It was scary,
Works.
but it came through loud and clear. It was a growl.
You just have to make 100% sure that it is the voice recorder that comes with your phone and not one that's on one of those apps.
Oh, no, it was the one that came with my phone.
Because the ones that are on the apps, they have generated things. It'll tell you it's for entertainment purposes only. It'll throw little bits and pieces. There's a few decent ones out there that I've seen, but
yeah,
most of them have the little scare you techniques in there.
Right. Well, and we turned off the Wi-Fi on our phones and just turned it like on airplane mode or whatever and was playing it. And it came through just as a growl. Now, you would not expect that in a fancy hotel in downtown Chicago.
No.
So
that's wicked.
It was pretty wicked. Yeah. Yeah. That was one of the few EVPs I went, okay, I got that one loud and clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if that was a growl, that would be considered a class A. If it's a good prominent growl that stands out, that's how you separate them. And there's different methods they're using now, which I think the communication field has gotten great when it comes to expanding and trying new things. They have these phasma boxes now. They have these the Estes method, all these different methods that they're getting good results with.
Right. And the Estes method, that's the one where you basically are like, you have a blindfold and headset on.
Right.
Okay.
And you're listening to one of those ghost boxes or something and you're listening for words to come out of there while someone else in the area asks questions.
Yeah, I've seen that done. I've never experienced that. I'm interested in it.
I've yet to try it.
Curiosity. Yeah. Courtney wants to know if I still have that recording. I do still have that recording. I just didn't identify it, so I would have to go through all the recordings I have on my phone to find it. Figured out by date.
674. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's one more I've got here, Kristina, if you want to play it.
Let's hear it.
Now this one is again was captured at the Sally house. Deborah Pickman and I and a couple other team members were doing an investigation in Sally's bedroom.
Okay.
And this one we had a candle lit and we were trying to get little Sally to blow the candle out. And it was something she did often. She was fixated with fire. Just burn flowers from the inside out, all kinds of weird things throughout the house. But this was, we had asked the spirit to blow the candle out. And if you listen close, you'll kind of hear, well, you don't have to listen close. You may hear it. We'll talk about it after. How's that?
Okay.
Look, Sally, put the candle out. I'm right here with you. Look, Sally, put the candle out. I'm right here with you.
See, it's to kind of explain that was Deb asking her to blow the candle out.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of hear the white noise.
Yeah.
Then you kind of hear the
I heard
noise.
blowing too, yeah, but I wasn't sure if that was because I was set up to hear blowing.
And then at the end, there's a voice that real faintly says, what I feel says too hard. And then that's it. The candle never blew out. It didn't even flicker really.
Okay.
But again, these are captured later. You discover these later.
Right.
And that's why it's important, very important, to note any natural noises, anything in your area, like a growl. It could be a stomach growl or a dog barking, or, if you can hear it with your naked ear, note it on that recording. That way you'll know later that that's what it was.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah. And that's one of those things that I have a real bad habit of doing during a recording. I'll say, note this, note that, note this, note that.
Okay.
And if you notice, I didn't say that during this recording.
Right.
I didn't, none of that was heard.
Okay.
None of that was heard at all. So it was very strange.
Yeah.
Very strange.
I was just like some other people said, yeah, I heard it. I heard too hard or something like that. I didn't hear any of that. I heard the blowing, but that's all I heard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah. And Lee says, I wonder if anyone got an EVP on an airplane while flying.
That's a good question because of the pressure and the noise.
It's loud on an airplane. Like it's constant. It's a constant hum on an airplane. That would be interesting. Maybe next time I fly, which God only knows when that's going to be, but next time I fly, maybe I'll try
Get the recorder out.
Yeah, I'll get because I have my phone on airplane anyway because I'm on the airplane. So maybe I will. But then I think you'd have to do it when nobody is talking. And that's kind of a hard thing to do, especially on a commercial flight.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Somebody's always talking.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it would be tainted per se if there's a bunch of people talking and things. It's hard to say the word evidence anymore. It's more data collection these days. Evidence is very hard.
Well, and I honestly, over the years, I have talked to so many people who are skeptic, which is good. I think skepticism is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
But they're like, well, if I gathered the information and I could verify it, then I would believe. And I said, yep. And everybody else would be not believing a word of it because they didn't do it.
Right.
So, it's really to find something that is going to convince everyone. I think that's pretty much near impossible.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not one of those things. The way I look at it is it's not my job to prove it to anybody.
Yeah. I feel the same way.
I came into this skeptical. I came in with an open mind as well, but a skeptical mind.
Mm-hmm.
But when you come face to face with a few things you can't explain, you can't unbelieve that.
Right.
You can't just turn that off.
Right.
And it's not our job to convince everybody else.
Right. Because you're not going to anyway.
No.
There's no way you're not going to convince everybody that what you have is empirical evidence.
Right.
Because if we're going by scientific method, it also has to be repeatable, right?
Yeah.
You have to be able to repeat the exact same thing. I'm sorry. You can barely get living people to repeat the exact same thing. Let alone spirits who are just like, I'm done playing your stupid game. Go home now.
It's so true.
It
is. It's so true.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a tough field. It really is. And you have the expansion of the field as well. It's going on different levels, going in different directions. And one of these days we'll sit down, we'll get organized, we'll make some things happen. But, you just take it one moment at a time and keep chugging forward with the stuff. Don't give up because it does. It gets boring. It really does. It can get really boring.
I know. I have people like, oh, take me on an investigation. I can't wait to. I'm like, this isn't a TV show, right? Like you're not going to get all that activity in 20 minutes and then go home. It just doesn't happen that way. You could sit there for hours and maybe one thing will happen and you might not even know it at the time until you go back and then you review all of those hours of data. Yeah. I think a lot of people are just not understanding that.
Yeah. And It's a generational thing as well. I mean, that's the next generation coming into this field
Mhm.
is a generation that enjoys real time and instant now. They
Well,
want
I
it
think I think they've
immediate.
kind of been trained for that,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah. I want to say hi to Deidre and George. Thanks for hopping on, guys.
George Chaplin. All right. No, there's a lot,
There is.
with EVP that are there. There's several several people out there that are trained in it, that have been there and done that and capture some different things with different recorders, different systems. Really, I mean, I've
Right.
seen people with, oh my goodness, Dale Kazmarek, for example, one of the tried and true investigators and researchers out there. His team is amazingly scientific when it comes to this. They have devices that, read the sound decibels in a room, and they go serious with it. And you can, it's
Yeah.
great to document everything you can to disprove what you're, you kind of have to. It goes with the territory, but it's also fun to go out there with a cell phone and just communicate, just talk, just try,
Right.
and use different things. Try to sit there, then try a walking method where you walk to a location, stop, record. Don't walk while you're recording. Don't record while you're walking.
Hmm.
Just stop for a few minutes at an area. You can cover a lot of ground that way as well. Um, the stationary method where you leave the recorder there. Sure,
Right.
there's room for false positives. Sure, there's no one there to hear a dog barking in the background. But it's the method itself. It's stationary. It does, and if something paranormal is on there, you'll know.
Oh, absolutely.
You'll know.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And Marilyn asked a really good question here. Is there times that you are aware the spirit is present but not communicating? If it was me, I wouldn't be a fan of being studied.
Yes, Marilyn, you are
Yes.
correct. You are correct. They are
And I
not there
would
to
agree with that
perform.
too.
There are spirits there that, oh my goodness, they're there. You can feel them there. You have evidence they're there. They won't talk to you. They don't want to be a part of this. And
Nope.
they'll wait in the waiting. I mean, you can just feel it. You can
Yeah.
feel the eyes watching you that they don't want any part of this mess.
I actually
You
have
know?
a story about that that's pretty fun. I
Oh,
was teaching paranormal investigation, and there was, I don't know, 14 or 15 of us, and we're in a known haunted location. The spirit was there. I'd been talking to him, you know, I'd been talking to him. I'd been there before. We were talking back and forth, just, telepathically. And we had a different group come in to demonstrate like how the equipment works and all that. Because honestly, the only equipment I own is my cell phone. I have not invested anything in paranormal investigation equipment, nothing. So I just rely on my own intuition and psychic ability.
mm-hmm.
And we're all standing around in a circle, and one of the people from the group, the paranormal group, puts down a K2 and is asking him, if there's a spirit here, please light this up. Now, I swear I could see this man standing on the other side of the circle from me, arms crossed, going, that guy's an idiot. I'm not talking to him. I swear, yeah, I'm not even kidding. He was just like, I'm not talking to that guy. I don't like him. I don't like what he's doing, and he's dumb. I'm not doing it.
and I can see that.
Yeah,
It's like asking them to perform.
right.
Um,
This isn't a dog and pony show.
no, you don't want to sit there and ask, hey, if you're here, give us a sign, come knock on the wall, or um, you're inviting them into this realm. Any way
Mhm.
you slice it, you're inviting them, and it's very similar to a Ouija.
Yeah,
To be honest with you, to me, I feel they're the same tools.
right.
EVP recording and Ouija are so very similar.
Oh, I agree. Yeah. George said, yes, it's about what equipment. I do believe it has a lot to do with who's holding the equipment. It takes trust here and on the other side of the veil.
Bingo.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You are dead on, George. That
Couldn't
is
agree more.
absolutely correct.
Couldn't
Yeah.
agree more. And
Yeah, if the spirits don't trust you, why would they talk to you?
yeah, exactly. You can't just go in there, flashes blazing, kick the door open. Hey, we're here. Show us yourself. It doesn't work that way. You've got to warm up, especially a residential investigation. This place is already fired up. They're
Right.
calling you, and you're
Mhm.
going in there into a known haunted location. You better know what's going on. It's one of those areas that you just don't want to mess with because you can get
Right.
hurt. You can get
You
hurt in
can
this
get
field,
hurt. Yeah.
absolutely, physically
Yeah.
or spiritually. It's very
Absolutely.
possible.
And can I just share that Logan just popped in and he said, I can't wait to with the next person who does something stupid in an investigation. I literally just heard him say that while you were talking, and I just wanted to
I can hear him saying that too.
I know, right? Thanks for popping in, Logan. We appreciate that.
That's hilarious.
All right. So Jessica says, I have a story. So my dad is an alcoholic and he drinks every day. And he has this ghost that wakes him up at nights, closes doors, and stands next to him. So I went to do a cleaning, sage the whole place. And I felt a push and felt that this thing left mad. So next week he brings a drug addict to his home, and the ghost came back to the house.
Oh my goodness. That sounds like beyond attachments.
Yeah, that
All
sounds
over
like
the place.
makings of a horror novel right there.
Wow, Jessica,
Ooh.
that's terrible.
Yeah.
But those could be attachments or lurkers.
Mhm.
They kind of hang around on your back, and depending on where you go, I mean, addicts are known to hang out in some pretty low end places.
Yeah.
So that you pick those up and you take them with.
Now the ghost breaks things. He
Yeah.
breaks his dishes.
And
Wow.
that could also possibly be a poltergeist situation due to the stress in either one of the adults.
Mhm.
It could be a lot of different things. That's terrible.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
And the thing is that, and this has been my experience with, I'm going to say better than 90% of attachments. A lot of them are attached from this end, not that end. We're the ones who create the attachments, and we won't let them go because we need to figure them out, or because we like being scared, or it feeds some other need that the human, the meat suit
Host.
needs, the host needs. Yeah. And most attachments are literally created and maintained from the physical end, not the non-physical end. And I'm not saying it's intentional.
Oh,
I'm just saying that's what I've observed.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
I'm sure that Jessica, I'm sure that you are really upset. Unfortunately, there's nothing that you can do about it unless he chooses to change something in his life.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate, but it's out of your hands, honey. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's tough.
Mm-hmm. Oh, here we go. Little deep on this question. Ever think just maybe they are investigating us at the same time we are investigating them? Maybe why we hear them, maybe why we may hear them in our heads.
Yes.
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 Question. That was a great question.
Oh yeah, and that is deep. That's a deep subject, and that can go on so many different levels.
Oh yeah. Because not everything that we experience with the paranormal is necessarily a passed on human. There are a lot of things out there that are not human that we make connections with.
So many different things
that we don't even know about.
No, we haven't even discovered. I mean, we've discovered 10% of our oceans, I think 10 or 20%, a handful. There's so
like
many different creatures and things out there. They just recently discovered a new species of orangutan, for crying out loud. And who's to say that Sasquatch isn't out there? It just hasn't been discovered yet because no one can produce a body. Well, no one, maybe people have seen him up close, didn't want to produce a body.
Right.
Maybe there's reason behind that as well. That's why I love this field. It's ever changing.
Yeah. Thanks, George.
Good
He said you
question.
two are nailing it tonight.
That's awesome. That's good stuff.
Yeah. That was a really good question. And I mean, how do we know that it's not an animal? How do we know it's something that didn't even live on, that absolutely has lived on the planet? We don't know that.
No.
We don't know anything about it. There are people who swear they see angels. I'm not here to tell them they're wrong. I don't know. That
Like-
you tell me you saw an angel, you saw an angel. I 100% believe you because I can't disprove it.
You can't. I can sit here and tell you right now, Kristina, I'm staring at a pink elephant. You can't prove that I'm not.
No.
And so it's tough. And it's a really, especially in our field, and with everything that goes on in there, it's hard. It just unravels in your mind. And you just have to take a lot of it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Or it will eat you up. It tore me up anyway. Because you're constantly searching for that answer. But if you know, and then it stops.
My dear friend Marilyn. Well, I don't know about the paranormal, but my guides think I'm a riot. I think you're a riot too, Marilyn.
I love it.
Lee says that she has felt and heard a ghost dog and a spirit cat. I know for a fact that I have run into that. And Todd, no more LSD.
No more LSD. I wish.
Okay. But Lee brings up another point. Has anyone, I've never, in all the years I've been doing this is more than 20 years, I've never heard anyone talk about seeing the ghost of a dinosaur.
Never had any reported sightings that I've heard of. And why not?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, they would be the ghost of ghosts.
You would think so. I mean, if they were all wiped out at one time, right?
They were huge.
Like in one fell swoop.
That's a big energy mass.
Yeah. Why has no one ever seen a dinosaur ghost? And if somebody has, like seriously, email me and I want to know about it. PsychicChristina67@gmail.com. If you have seen or experienced a dinosaur ghost, I want to know about it.
Dinosaur ghost.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. It just occurred to me, I jumped so far into this conversation, we forgot to take a break. We should probably take a break.
Oh, we can do that.
Okay. Are you looking for unbiased and uncensored paranormal and spiritual talk? At WLTK-DB.com, we offer several talk shows ranging from self-care to hauntings and everything in between. Find the shows and hosts on our website at WLTK-DB.com. You can watch them live or catch up on your latest favorites. While you're there, be sure to check out the store and pick up some of the latest station swag. Did you know we had a station blog or that you can host your own show? It's all online at WLTK-DB.com. Looking to advertise? Check out our competitive pricing and let's get you noticed. WLTK Talk Radio has something for everyone. So be sure to stop by and say hello at WLTK-DB.com. Good. I almost said good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome back to Be the Change. I don't know what time it is. It's 39 minutes past the hour. That's what time it is. And I am here with station owner and EVP specialist, Todd Bates. We are talking about EVPs. And we were also going to talk about the influence of media on paranormal investigation. And I think that is a topic that could really spark some stuff, but
yeah, and it can, a lot of people get offended by that when you're talking about it, but it's I have nothing against these television shows. I narrate one. I have nothing against them. It's they're fun, but they're entertainment, and I think that they've helped raise awareness
Hmm.
of all the phenomenon out there that is out there. Some do it in a better light than others. Some are better quality than others. Some are less produced than others.
Yes.
So you take these with a grain of salt. A lot of them are fun. Uh, you know, if anything, you gain historical knowledge from them.
Hmm.
Some equipment knowledge, but as long as you can decipher that a true investigation could take days or weeks, to where
Yes.
these guys are doing it in several hours,
Yeah.
you know. So as long as you can separate those and know that it's not that fast, it doesn't go that quick, I think you'll be okay. But
Right.
I like how, when I first got into this, Christina, that you wouldn't talk about this kind of stuff to your neighbor. They'd have you committed.
Right.
They think you were loony. And now with all these shows and podcasts, all kinds of stuff, it's not as taboo as what it used to be. You can go talk about ghosts or Bigfoot with your neighbor, and they'll know. They'll sit there and discuss it with you. For
Yeah,
the most part,
absolutely.
most people have heard of it,
Yeah.
and more people are coming out of their shell. They're sharing their stories, their experiences. You have a lot of abductees that are finally coming forward because there's a safe place for them to do so. And
Yes.
the paranormal
Right.
community is it.
Right. And you're right. I mean, there's so much more talking about it. There's so
Mhm.
much more. And I used to, when I told people I was a psychic, they'd be like,
Get
you know,
back.
and now it's like, oh, that is so cool. My grandma went to this psychic or, whatever. And it just sparks a conversation. And um, Robin said some people still look down on you for talking about it. Yeah. No,
Yes,
that's
some
not.
do.
Some do, some do. And just another quick funny story. I recently went through Canada to go to New York for the first time, right? So
Mhm.
it was into and out of Canada and then into Canada and then back into the United States. So 4 times I went through customs. Okay. So
Wow.
3 out of 4 customs agents, they ask you what you're doing, like how long have you been here? What's your business here? Like they want to know, like, how long have you been in my country, or what were
Yeah.
you doing in New York when you live in Wisconsin? It's like, what, are we not allowed to leave home anymore? What the hell, But it was really funny because they would ask me, so what are you doing? And again, 3 out of 4, what's your business? I was at a psychic fair.
A what?
Yeah, well, and then, well, what do you do? I'm a psychic. Not even kidding you. As soon as I said that, they just handed back my passport and said, "Hadn't have a nice day." It was like immediate. Have a nice day. Like, don't read me, just keep going.
Yeah, they think she's gonna
Yep.
read my mind.
The other one was like, "Oh, I've been wanting to get a psychic reading." I'm like, "You have my name. Look me up.
You have my name. Look me up.
I'm everywhere. You can't miss me." Yeah. Marilyn had shared a story she's in one of my private text groups. And she said, after driving through 2 vortexes this past weekend, I know that almost anything is possible beyond our human brain capacity to understand. Because she had some experiences, and I'm not going to go into details mostly because I don't remember the details, but I do remember the energy behind her conversation and how it made her feel different. It was a paranormal experience for her because it was way outside of her normal experience, which is what paranormal is.
Right. Absolutely.
Hi,
Vortexes
Michael.
are vortexes are amazing, amazing
Yeah,
phenomenon.
they are.
Those and portals, um, they used to mesmerize me.
Hmm.
And what I learned was mediumship. Psychics would be able to find these and know where these are located, more than any kind of electronic equipment.
Absolutely.
You have to rely on the
Absolutely.
human psyche for that.
Yeah. And, hi, Debbie. There are some groups that don't allow psychics, which absolutely blows me away, because
Me
you
too.
can gather all the information you want, but having a medium there
Mhm.
who gives context to the data
And helps validate.
and helps
I'll
validate
say
it.
it.
Yeah.
Helps validate. They I would rely more on a medium than I would a tool.
Yeah.
Because we're dealing with human beings.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you guys are in touch with the human psyche, the universe. You know, you're connected with that.
Right.
And if I had a medium on one hand and a Mel meter that took the temperature and the electromagnetic field and all that fun stuff in the other, I'm going to go with the medium
Right.
because it's more intimate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I have this tool, the ghost or spirit may be afraid of that tool. They may be a little shy around a person, but eventually they'll warm up to them, right?
Usually,
Just
unless they don't
like,
like them. Unless they don't like them.
yeah, yeah.
Which is always possible too. I mean, just because somebody's not talking to you doesn't mean they aren't there. It just means they don't want to talk to you for
It's
whatever
true.
reason. Yeah. Let's see. Lee said, I thought Todd was calling you a tool. Thanks, Lee.
Leave it to Lee.
Debbie says, as a medium, hearing the equipment validates things I'm keeping to myself always has me in awe.
Yeah.
Hearing the teams unfold the evidence intrigues me all the time. Yeah,
Yes.
me too.
It's a give and
Me
take.
too. It's validating both ways. Absolutely.
It's a give and take.
Yeah.
You know, it really is. It's a human experience. Any way you
Mhm.
slice it, when you go into these places and you experience something, whether you're being touched or scratched or whatever, you know, you're experiencing something that only you are supposed to experience. Maybe you got to
Yeah,
cherish those,
exactly.
document them, but don't go in there with guns blazing, film going everywhere. That would scare the tar out of me. If I was a spirit, I'd be pissed.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Especially the ones who've been gone long before the technology.
Sure.
I mean, they're not going to know what that is. Someone who passed last year, they're going to be like, oh, it's one of those stupid things. Yeah, I don't feel like talking.
Ease your way into a situation. Don't go in
Right,
there kicking the door
exactly.
open.
Right. And it just amazes me. Like, I am always, whenever I go on an investigation, or even whenever I'm just called to go to someone's house to help cleanse, or I don't even like the word cleansing a house, but to talk to the spirits that are there, find out what the deal is. There is always more understanding with a conversation than there's ever going to be with just the equipment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying the equipment isn't helpful, but I'm saying that with a conversation, there's always more understanding.
Agreed.
And that's what I do. I talk to dead people, but and in doing so, that's a conversation and there's more understanding. And I just feel like that is an invaluable tool. I'm going to call myself a tool, I guess now, but
we're all tools that are
we're all
way.
tools. Balance. Exactly.
Balance. Yes.
And I like the equipment. The equipment's fun. I like watching the lights go off. And this is something that I don't know. I've seen this in a few investigations. I'm on a team. Honestly, I've never gone on an investigation with my current team. It just has not lined up for us.
It will.
So, what was that?
It will.
It will. It will. But I'm kind of excluding my team from this at this point because I've never gone on an investigation with them. But when I go on an investigation and they have all of these different tools set up, and you got, a group of people in a room and everybody has their own little blinking thing going on. And then they're just rapid firing questions. Well, how do you expect to get answers? You're not giving them even time to answer.
It's hard.
Yeah.
And those pieces of equipment, they do help validate certain things like movement, temperature. I get it. And
Yeah,
I get the science behind it, and you want your
I do.
variables. You've got to get your ducks in a row. I get it.
I get
But
that.
what I feel we leave out of it a lot too is just the simple human experience.
Right.
Just going in there with yourself, some common sense, um, something simple,
Hmm.
nothing complicated. Try
And
that route.
honestly, if they want to talk to you through your electronics, your watch is going to go haywire or your phone is going to do something weird. If they want to communicate through electronics, they will. And I'm not putting down any of the equipment. I'm
No,
not doing
my
that.
goodness, no.
The rapid firing of questions is what I was getting at.
Yeah.
Like, give them time to answer.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if somebody was rapid firing questions at you, eventually you're just going to shut down because there's no way for you to respond.
A good 15 seconds is a good pause time when you're doing an EVP session, a question and answer session, and keep the sessions, at 3 to 5 minutes. That way you have less to process later, and you can have what are called delayed conversations where you can
Right.
go back and forth. And that's about as real time as you can get in the EVP world. Now they
Right.
have all these real time everything, and
Yeah.
more power to them.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out the stuff in the back.
I was talking recently. I was at the Michigan Paracon in Sault Ste. Marie, and I was talking to. Oh, I hope I get his name right because he's going to be a guest on the show. Chris Nielsen, I think he wrote a book on the. I have the book downstairs. Do you think I thought to bring it up with me? Of course not.
Oh, of course not.
On the Edinburgh Manor.
Oh, yeah.
In Iowa. Okay, so he wrote a book on that, Fear and Fascination. And I asked him, "What is your favorite piece of equipment?" Because he had a bunch of them laid out on the table, and he said, "Honestly, the cat toys, the
Cat
light up
balls.
cat toys, yeah, the light up cat balls. They're easy to operate.
Mm-hmm.
They seem to like them.
Yep. And it's something they can relate to. They probably marbles, whatever they've had things like that for years.
Yep, and you can buy
And
them at the dollar store.
yeah, and they're cheap.
Yeah." Yep. But he said that was currently his favorite piece of equipment because that's the one that most of them communicate with or play with or, want to mess with. I
Yeah.
thought that was interesting. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll go invest in some cat toys. I can do that.
And it's
Yeah.
it's tangible. It's something tangible too. You can
Yeah.
see it move, watch it move, and so forth.
And you can see it light up.
Yeah, you see it light up.
Yeah.
Like they used baby powder back in the day. I remember
Mhm.
that. Sprinkling the baby
Oh,
powder.
yeah, yeah. I remember that. So you look for footprints in the baby
Mhm.
powder. Yep.
So much fun. And of course
Yeah.
you do that now. You
And you got to clean up after
you
yourself.
gotta clean up after yourself. Yeah. Respect, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Michael, and I've had Michael on my show before too, but he said you can't have a lot of people; it won't work.
That's
Well,
right.
yeah, if you're in a big enough location and you can spread out into small groups of 2 or 3, then I think it can work. But yeah, having a lot of people in one room, there's no way to keep all those people quiet. First of all, because no matter how hard you try, it's not going to happen. Somebody's going to whisper to somebody. And whispering, by the way, is probably the best way to mess up your EVPs.
Biggest no-no.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
biggest no-no.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, if you can get 2 or 3 people, you can keep quiet. But you get 7, 8, 9, 10 people,
Yeah.
it's
I
too
mean,
much, and
you've
it's
got
too many conflicting energies, I think, in a room.
yeah, I couldn't agree more. Too many
Yeah.
conflicting energies, just too much room for false positives. You
Mhm.
just want to kind of eliminate those to save yourself some work later.
Oh yeah. Michael says 2 is the most. Honestly, Michael, I'm good with 2. As a woman, I will not go investigating by myself, especially in an unknown in a location at night, because I'm just not stupid. Like,
Yeah.
you
No,
know,
I get it. I wouldn't
yeah,
for an EVP session, I wouldn't do any more than 3 people.
yeah. Night
Because
res.
Night res.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I go to people's houses upon their request, but I'm still not in their house without them.
Sure.
So yeah. And I guess men and women obviously look at it a little bit differently, but yeah, as a safety thing, I don't suggest anyone goes by themselves, but two people's good.
Yeah, definitely don't go alone. I mean, there's
Yeah.
too many, oh my goodness, too many things that can happen. I mean, I'll give you an example. I wasn't alone. I was actually with two other people, but I fell in an open grave. You
Yeah.
can fall into these things.
You can get hurt.
Yeah, you can get seriously injured.
Yeah.
Know your surroundings and
Yeah.
watch what's in front of you. Whoops.
Yep. Well, and a lot of times we do these things at night. You can't necessarily see what you're walking through,
True.
especially if you're outside.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I mean, you're at the mercy of your flashlight, and sometimes that can be deceiving.
and sometimes it gets turned off whether you want it to or not.
Whether you want it to or not, those batteries get drained, they get zapped, and
Yes,
you're
they
stuck.
do. Right. Yeah, Debbie agrees. Yeah, that's right. Worries more about the structure of buildings versus spirit.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. I'm not at all concerned about spirit because I know my guides
No.
got me. I'm protected. But, physically, I'm not the most coordinated person on the planet. And I could
Yeah,
easily, anybody could, get hurt. So I always suggest the buddy system.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, there's safety in numbers.
Yeah.
But it's, you also want your data to be as clear as you can. So less is
Exactly.
more. Less is more.
Are you more
Yes.
likely? Yes. You are more likely to get EVP if you ask permission.
That is correct.
Yes.
It's you get used to them. You want to, if it's a client residence here real quick, you want to go there, you want to familiarize yourself with that home, with that environment, with that energy that's in there. Because you're going to feel if this place has a bad haunting, it could be malevolent, it could be just something traditional, it could be something residual, it could be a poltergeist, it could be many different things. But
Mhm.
just go in there with that mindset and just know that it could be dangerous. Get used to it. Don't just go in there, do some recordings, grab your data and go and leave the client ghosted for crying out loud. Explain
No.
to them, sit down with them, just get familiar with the location, and respect will take you as far as you need to go.
Do not ghost the people who want you to check on their ghosts.
No,
Don't
ghost
do
the
it.
ghosters.
Don't ghost the ghosties. Yeah, that's not cool.
That's a no. So many do that.
Yeah,
I
know.
mean, it's just
Because the real work comes afterwards.
yeah,
All those hours of data to mine through, that's a lot.
yeah,
That's a lot.
and that's
You
the
know?
fun, exciting part to someone like myself.
Right, because that's where you're actually going to see the evidence or
Mhm.
hear the evidence.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And I have to say, as someone who has never bought property, I've always rented. I actually, when I look at a place, I will ask the spirits who are there, because there are spirits everywhere. I ask permission to move in and to move my family in.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
Nope. Hotel rooms, I check out that energy, and if it doesn't feel friendly, I ask for a different room.
Guilty.
I do, because I don't want to be kept all night because somebody doesn't want me there.
Yeah.
See.
Yeah. I mean, a real quick story. I almost did that for Sherry and I. We stayed at a Turkey Run Inn. It's real old.
Okay.
And the room we were in felt occupied.
Okay.
And I almost did that, but it seemed, the feeling subsided. I didn't see anything. Nothing happened. It was just that being watched feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And it subsided. But I was going to ask for another room, because of that.
Yeah, I have asked for another room because of that. And I'm like, whatever. People ask for rooms for all different kinds of things. Good night, Debbie. Thanks for popping in.
Good night, Debbie.
All right. We have a question here. May have been asked already, but have you ever brought stuff home with you afterwards?
I have. Oh, my goodness. A quick story behind that was the Sally house. That was probably 2008 or 7, one of the two. That last investigation, where my oldest daughter, she was 12 years old, and she woke up. This was after I'd come home from a 2-day investigation down there, and she'd woke up in the middle of the night and saw the little girl at the foot of her bed after her radio had been shut off because she slept with the radio. It shut the radio off, and she looked down there. There she was. I mean, a 12-year-old in there with her parents, and she was terrified.
Right.
And then my youngest was talking to what I believe were the little girl Sally and so forth, but she was playing with them in her room, playing tea party with them and all this and talking to them.
Oh, wow.
And I smudged the place, not knowing what to do, how to smudge. I didn't open the windows. Please open windows.
Yes.
But I smudged, and it must have pissed them off, something awful, because I did it wrong. And all of a sudden, my youngest was 3 at the time. She goes, Daddy, you killed the doctor. They were outside. She said she saw them outside standing by the fence, and they weren't coming in. So, I brought those attachments home from that house because I didn't protect myself well enough. You got to be careful.
That's the other thing we haven't even touched on, protecting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I go in with a team, whether it's me and one other person or we have a larger team covering a larger space. Doesn't matter. We always do the circle. We always do the white light circle. And thank you for talking to us, and thank you for staying behind when we leave.
Yep. You are not welcome.
You may not come home with anyone in this group. So, yeah. Yep. I have also had it too. And I've also had it where students of mine have had that too, where they've had either left part of themselves there or something came home with them. And that's another thing. You can leave part of yourself somewhere too.
I believe that.
Yeah. So
there's so much phenomenon out there, time terrors, so many different things you can experience. It's amazing.
Oh, yeah. And then this one just came up. I didn't even see this question when I started talking about it. But yes, it is possible to accidentally leave a piece of yourself behind. But I am going to say that's not just on investigations. I've had clients who come to me who have left part of themselves behind where they went on vacation because they were having a good time and didn't want to come home. So then we have to do a soul retrieval and bring that part home so they can function.
Wow.
Yeah. So it doesn't just happen at an investigation, and we can leave parts of ourselves anywhere, basically. We ran over on time again, Todd. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I'm having too much fun. This is good stuff.
I know, right?
This was amazing. Thank you.
You're welcome. This is a fun topic. Casey, I will have to check my schedule, and I'll send you a Facebook message when I figure it out. I don't think I have anything currently scheduled in the cross, but I'll let you know. My October calendar got all turned upside down and twisted, so I have to figure
Poor
something
Kristina.
out. Hey, at least it wasn't next week that got all turned upside down and twisted, because that's happened too. But I'll let you know when next time I'm going to be in La Crosse. So, all right, yeah, Brumder Mansion. We had a student left her inner child behind dancing on the stage in the basement.
Brumder Mansion.
Yeah, it's in Milwaukee. Yeah, it's where I have taken my intuitive view classes to teach the paranormal investigation part.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, because it's a safe place to do it. And coming back to Earth anytime soon? No, wasn't planning on coming back to Earth anytime soon. I don't know. What about you, Todd? Are you planning on coming back to Earth anytime soon?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, me too.
Not anytime soon.
Wow. So speaking of paranormal, my guests next week are Craig and Melissa, and they are the two who are putting on the Great Lakes Paranormal Conference. So I'm going to have them on next week.
Nice.
So, yeah, we'll be talking about the conference. We'll be talking about some of the amazing guests that they've got coming in. I know I'm a speaker. Diet's a speaker. I could list a whole bunch of them. Probably Adam Berry pops into my head. Not sure why he does above others, but there's a lot of them. And yeah, I think Dave Schrader might be there. I'm not sure.
Oh, nice.
I'll have to check the list. But so yeah, lots of cool stuff going on for that. So I will have Craig and Melissa next week. So
That's going to be fun.
yeah. It'll be really cool. I'm excited about that. It's a 3-day conference, and
When is it?
Fun stuff. It is September 22nd, 23rd, and 24th.
That's right
It's
around
at the
corner.
Haunted Glen Beulah School, and I will be doing a presentation on Friday. I will be doing a paranormal investigation from like 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Saturday.
Ooh.
And then I'll be doing the gallery reading Sunday afternoon.
Busy.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
That sounds action-packed. I can't wait to get back out there at the conferences again, bouncing around.
It's going to be fun. It'll be fun having you there.
Coming soon, November of 2024. Coming soon.
Awesome. Keith, you're welcome for the shirt or the aura reading course. That is on the 13th of September. And I do have a Facebook group or a Facebook event page made for that. So it's going to be fun. Awesome. What do you got going on, Todd?
Well,
other than running a radio station.
Yeah, kind of doing this, getting some things adjusted. We're going to have some shows switching and things coming up. Got some new shows in the works. There's so much going on the website. A lot of things have gone into the website as well. There's going to be some new features there. Going to put in a chat room.
Nice.
Fun stuff. But I've just been crazy busy with the book and everything too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's on sale. I want to get that out there real quick. If you guys want a free copy of my book, The Haunted Voice, the ebook is available for free on Amazon until tomorrow. Well, it ends tomorrow.
Do you have a time that it ends tomorrow?
Probably midnight.
Midnight tomorrow? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's midnight tomorrow. It'll end, and you can go there, download it for free. I've just been keeping busy with that, keeping that thing rolling. The station's been fun, and there's something extra I'm going to do on the weekends, maybe some extra stuff.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's cool. And I can't wait to get back out in the field. Sherry and I are going to get back out there and do some more with. We've been going to the old Betsy Reed Cemetery to kind of get my feet wet again here locally. Fishing. Definitely fishing. Have to have the fishing in, and have to get a few more times in before it gets cold too.
Yeah. I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's ever going to get cold.
Not lately.
Not lately. Oh my gosh, no. And the thing is, you do such a good job of promoting your book. I have 2 books out there. I never promote them. They're on Amazon.
Oh,
and really promoting your book is more work than writing the thing in the first place.
Mm-hmm. It's hard. Self-publishing's hard. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's fun though. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
And
even when you don't self-publish, you still got to promote your own book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a never-ending battle.
Yep. Somebody wrote Thursday. It's a Facebook user wrote Thursday, but I'm not sure why.
Thursday.
What's Thursday?
Is Thursday a good fishing day?
Maybe.
So I'll go. I'll find a way.
I don't know.
Oh,
Cooler by Thursday.
Good.
Okay.
I'm ready for that fall weather. It's that time of year. I'm ready for the change.
Yeah. I know when I was in New York and Vermont, I mean, there's a little bit of color with the leaves going on here, but there were hello, Bill. There were some trees in full-blown color like 2 or 3 weeks ago in New York and Vermont.
Wow.
So I have a feeling that their leaf peeping season is going to be early this year.
Coming soon.
Yep. It is. It is. I want to thank you, Todd. This has been a lot of fun. You always have so much good information, and I very much appreciate it. And
it's my pleasure.
And we just kind of shoot the breeze like we always do. So
What we do.
Staying on topic is a little more difficult sometimes, but it's always fun, and it's always good. And I want to thank everyone in the chat room. I want to thank everyone who was listening who didn't come into the chat room, and for everyone who listens afterwards, whether it's on replays of the show on video or on podcasts and downloads. Thank you all so much. This show does get downloaded to podcasts to, you might have to help me out here, Todd. I know that it's Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google, iTunes, Samsung. What am I missing here? There's
Apple
like 11.
Podcast. You got them.
Oh, yeah. Whole bunch of stuff. Yeah. Someone brought up remote viewing, but technically the show ended 10 minutes ago. So, so maybe another time we'll get back to remote viewing. All right. Thank you again, Todd. It's been a blast.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right. Take care.
You too. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
The truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTK-DB.com.